the way. This is the Wabash Valley's most accurate and reliable newscast. With Mike Cleff, Patrice Dayton, meteorologist Kevin Orpert, and Rick Semler, sports. This is News 10.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. One little boy is safe and sound tonight.
It comes after someone found him alone near 19th and Crawford in Terre Haute. It happened around 9 o'clock this morning.
A Terre Haute woman gets 4 years in-home detention for her role in a robbery. Authorities say Tammy Robbins admitted to helping 2 men rob a man she met at the Stevens Inn last September. The victim told police Robbins and another woman invited themselves to his home. That's where 2 masked men jumped the victim. The victim was not seriously hurt. One man is booked for possession of marijuana. It comes after Vigo County Jail employees observed a man sitting in a car in a parking lot of the Vigo County Jail. Using security cameras, personnel say they were able to watch this man, Jacques Cunningham, rolling what appeared to be a cigarette or marijuana. When deputies investigated, they found Cunningham had around 28 grams of marijuana and several opened and unopened bottles of alcohol in the vehicle. Cunningham and his passenger were in the parking lot to bond out a relative from the jail. Instead, both were walked right into the Vigo County Jail. Cunningham was booked for possession of marijuana. All right, weather-wise, anyone that's been outside for the last 2 or 3 hours, there's been a real interesting development that's real easy to notice.
Yeah, the winds were kicking up, some storms moving in, and Kevin has been talking about rain moving in.
Plus, hey, Kevins are back.
All right.
And stay tuned, and we'll be doing that.
Okay.
That's a blast from the past.
Yeah, it is.
All right.
First responders want you to pay extra close attention to this next story. They have a message for all area homeowners. This, as emergency response times are not as quick as they could be, especially in one Wabash Valley community.
And fire and police officials are putting forth extra efforts to make sure you and your family stay safe. But as News 10's Lindsay Yates reports, they need your help.
They are the numbers that identify your home. Lindsay Yates, News 10.
The state recommends you use 3-inch reflective numbers. The official Number Your House campaign will kick off next Monday. The Walmart in Clinton has donated house numbers to help residents who cannot afford them. The fire department also has volunteers to assist with putting them up. For contact information, head over to our website, WTHITV.com.
We are just 8 days from the Indiana primary election, and the polling place at the Vigo County Courthouse has been busy.
So far, 1,000 people have voted early at the courthouse. Tomorrow, you'll have 7 places where you can vote early. News 10's John Swanner joins us to fill us in. John?
Thanks, Mike and Patrice. 6 voting centers will open for early voting, which also includes the court. They expect a busy election day, which is next Tuesday, May 3rd. Back to you.
Thank you, John. Some good news for Illinois universities. Governor Bruce Rauner has signed new legislation. It keeps major Illinois universities operating until fall. The $600 million plan includes funding for the Monetary Award Program. It's a need-based grant. Colleges had to give them out the past school year without state reimbursement. In the Wabash Valley, Eastern Illinois University will receive around $12 million, as well as money from the MAP program. Governor Rauner says the law does not solve the budget crisis. Illinois has been without a budget since the summer of last year. Sortie 10's Kevin Orpert is looking at rain in your forecast. He'll tell you when you could see it and how much coming up.
Plus, chances are on the way for the National Weather Service, or changes rather on the way, and they could affect how you receive your weather alerts. It's next on News 10. Well, you may notice a few changes to a few of your weather alerts soon.
After more than 140 years, the National Weather Service will gradually stop using all caps in their public statements.
Storm Team 10's Matt Brooks spoke with a meteorologist with the NWS in Indianapolis to find out why.
That's how people get most of their alerts today.
There.
Well, I'm glad. Hey, Kevins are coming back.
Me too. They've always been a great, and I still have people out, you know, and they say, hey, Kevin, what's the weather? So, you know.
I have people saying that to me all the time.
And Kevin, I know there were 4 really cute kids in that first one, weren't
there? There were. I pointed out the little baby because she had this little bow, but there were some great kids in there.
And Kevin, also, notice on the screen, you got the weather quiz?
I do, yes, thank you, Mike. The height of a rainbow's arch often depends on the time of day. Is that true or is that false?
Interesting.
That is.
You know, sometimes you see a rainbow go like this, and other times it's more like that.
Interesting. Okay.
All right. We'll ponder it. Thank you, Kevin. Deflategate is back in the news. We'll have the latest involving Patriots quarterback Tom Brady.
And Caitlin Kennedy is having another big season on the softball diamond for North Central. We'll take a look at her amazing career next in sports.
All right, tonight's weather quiz. We've all seen a rainbow. And sometimes the rainbow's arch is kind of low, and other times it arches way high in the sky. Well, the height of a rainbow's arch often depends on the time of day. Is that true or is that false?
Patrice, I think it's true. What do you think?
Sure.
Yeah, it is true. If the sun is a little higher in the sky, the arch of the rainbow will be relatively low. But if the sun is lower on the horizon, the arch of the rainbow will often be higher.
Interesting.
So it just all has to do with the position of the sun, see? So I don't know if we're going to see any rainbows this week. We might. It's going to rain late tonight, and then off and on throughout the course of the day tomorrow, some thunder showers. Same thing for Wednesday and Thursday. A little bright spot on Friday, but then rain could be back in the picture as we get into the weekend.
Looks like we're not going to see much sun this week either.
No, not a lot.
All right.
Okay. Thank you, Kevin.
Sure.
That'll do it for News 10 at 6. As always, thank you very much for joining us.
We'll see you back here for News 10 Night Watch. Have a great evening.
Purdue head football coach Darrell Hazell announced the signing of 23 student athletes to national letters of intent to play for the Boilermakers earlier today. The group hails from 7 different states, with 5 each from Georgia, Florida, and Ohio, 3 each from Indiana and Illinois, and 1 each from Kentucky and Texas. Coach Hazell talked about his first Boilermaker recruiting class and the number crunching that goes into the madness that is National Signing Day. Now, of the 23 players who signed on the dotted line for the Boilermakers today, Terre Haute South's Danny Etling is the top 2013 recruit. Etling is rated as a 4-star prospect and listed as the #9 pro-style quarterback by Rivals.com. Etling is one of 3 early enrollees who spoke to the media earlier today. Etling and Purdue head coach Darrell Hazell talked about why Purdue is such a great fit. Purdue women's basketball has played terrific basketball this season while dealing with a serious illness within its basketball family. Boilermaker women's basketball director of operations Terry Kicks is undergoing treatment for stomach cancer, which limits Kicks to attending home games only. But the inspiration that Kicks has provided for Boilermaker women's basketball has extended to road games and every practice, and has also inspired a key part of the game day staff at Mackey Arena to honor the highly popular Boilermaker assistant.
Terry Kicks has a well-deserved reputation as someone with the sunniest of dispositions, and even during the toughest of times, Kicks won't let stomach cancer dampen her spirits.
Surrounding yourself with positive people is so important too. So I have 2 great doctors, 2 very positive doctors, but your mindset for me personally is everything, and I look at this as just another challenge in my chapter.
Kicks is in her 7th season as Purdue women's basketball director of operations. The respect and admiration for her runs deep in the Boilermaker basketball family.
I first met Terry on my visit here, on my official visit here, and I just remember her being the biggest ball of fire. I mean, just such the sweetest a person.
We're excited that she can make it to the games that she can, but you know, it's weird not having Terry around, but the second that she steps into a gym of a practice, everything just changes.
I went up and visited her one day while she was getting her treatments, and she was, to all the other patients that are up there, she was just, like you said, a ray of sunshine, and just such an encouragement when she went out and was talking to them. All the people's faces just brightened up when she went out there.
Kicks also has support from the Purdue Band, as the Boilermaker musicians sport Team Terry shirts, which they display after the Boilers' first basket of the game.
And when they heard about Terry, they immediately wanted something that they could do for the kids and for her. And so for them, this was their way of saying, we're here for you, we support you. No matter what's going on in your life, we're there for you, we're family.
It was very touching. I teared up, and I made sure I went over and let Pam, the band director, know how much I really appreciate it. And I blew all the kids kisses.
And watching her favorite team contend for a Big Ten title helps in Kicks' treatment.
And I text them after the game, and I try to relay messages, and they know how much I'm thinking about them during the game.
Terry's going through the toughest time right now, and she's here. She wants to be supporting us, and so we can't have a down day. We don't need to be fatigued. We don't need to be tired, and So that really helps, I think, all of us.
If you can surround yourself with positive energy and positive lifestyle habits, that is the best thing anyone can do for a cancer patient.
Kix is encouraged by a number of things, adding that chemotherapy treatments are working effectively in her recovery from stomach cancer. Kix is expected to be on the Boilermakers bench for Purdue's home game Sunday at Mackey Arena against Michigan.
Sports director Mike Cleff joins us now with more on Coach Hazel. A big day.
Yeah, it really was. Gina and Jeff, Daryl Hazel was introduced as the head football coach at Purdue on December 5th, and Wednesday marked the third time that he's held an interview session with local media, which gave me a chance to visit with Coach Hazel shortly after his signing day press conference wrapped up.
Hazel, thanks for the time. First and foremost, just as a coach with all your experience, do you get goosebumps on National Signing Day?
Oh, it's an exciting day for us. You know, we got up this morning around 4:30, got to the office probably about 5:45, and you're just so fired up for these guys. I mean, talk about the numbers. So many kids in high school have an opportunity to play and better themselves. So that's a neat experience.
Daryl, the average fan, what do you say to them about this group of 23? Because obviously the fans want to know every nook and cranny. But to instill confidence in this group, what would you tell the fan? What would you tell anytime you're talking to fans about this group, what you like about them?
Energy. I mean, you watch the film and their energy jumps off the film. They're an exciting group. They play so hard, and they're smart football players. That's what excites me about this group.
And Daryl, I know how important it is to get your staff together. And again, I saw them speak and how they carried themselves. And I know the answer to this, but just how excited are you about this staff? Personally, I'm impressed with them.
I got a great staff, and they bring a lot to the table. There are a lot of different minds that they have and ideas, but we all think alike at the end of the day. But they're smart guys.
A couple more things. Just how are you doing? Because I know your energy level, you've been on the go and everything, but just professionally, personally, how you holding up through this whole thing?
I'm doing okay. I'm getting enough sleep and having some fun, and I'm eating well.
Yeah.
So, but I'll be looking forward to moving into a house pretty quickly and settling down a little bit.
My final thing, Daryl, and I appreciate the time. Between now and between, say, late April, what's the most important thing that you and your staff, the current players and the future players, need to get out of this next span? Because I'm sure that it's a vital period of time.
A very, very important time coming up here. We're going to start our 6 a.m. workouts, and we're going to find out what kind of football team we have here sitting on campus. And we're going to test them a little bit, test their toughness, test their character, and it's a big period of time for us.
Coach Hazel will make his opening game debut with the Boilermakers when Purdue travels to Cincinnati, Ohio to take on the Cincinnati Bearcats on Saturday, August 31st. Mike Cleff, News 18.
The owner of Sarge's Shoe Repair on South 7th Street in Terre Haute.
You tend to talk to yourself in this job.
Brad Smith.
But we have a lot of fun. We laugh and joke.
Blends personality.
I pick on everybody that walks through the door. Well, if I yodel, you know, I just got myself with a needle.
And a hands-on work ethic to provide comfort to customers' footwear.
My customers are the best people. They range in age from little bitty grandkids coming in to see me to grandma and grandpa bringing them. Sometimes you got to give them a little love tap.
After serving 20 years in the Army, where he earned the nickname Sarge.
You don't have to be really talented to do this. Van Gogh, I'm not.
Smith started his shoe repair career 23 years ago. Using his nickname for the name of his business, Smith took a unique path for customers to learn his business hours, courtesy of a life-sized wax figure.
George is my open and close sign. If he's on the porch, I'm in here working. If George ain't on the porch, I ain't here.
Brad credits his father, William, for teaching him the ropes in the shoe repair profession. But the drastic drop in shoe repair shops nationwide has resulted in an adjustment for him and his customers.
Back in 1946, there were 70,000 shoe repair shops in this country. Today, there's less than 3,000. If you don't have a shoe repair shop, what do? You throw them away and go buy a brand new pair.
One thing Brad Smith refuses to throw away is his sense of humor.
If you're not careful, you can end up being part of a shoe.
A fitting slogan from a man who's made a life of a business that's hanging by a thread.
taken in 1956 by the first television camerawoman in American broadcast history. At a time when even most women didn't believe they could do a job as well as a man, WTHI Channel 10 in Terre Haute, Indiana, thought Betty Chadwick could.
Just 4 years into WTHI's existence,
let me tell you that Betty Chadwick is from Terre Haute, Indiana. She works for a television station down there, WTHI.
The station hired 33-year-old Betty Chadwick as a television photographer in 1958.
She was very, very proud to be a videographer for WTHI. And Channel 10 took they took a great deal of pride in her.
Yeah, those were the days.
Mike Lanke, whom Chadwick hired as a news photographer, felt that Chadwick downplayed being the first ever female in the profession.
One time I asked Betty, are you going to join the women's movement? And she kind of looked at me and went, you don't need a movement. She said, you just do it.
Ordinary women's clothing is unsuitable for me in my work. So I wear an outfit that looks very much like an Air Force flight suit.
Her sister Eloise made them for her. And it said Betty Chadwick up one leg, WTHI up the other, and had a big Channel 10 on the back. And you know, she took real pride in wearing that, and she wore them almost all the time.
Mike Sullivan, a co-worker of Chadwick's for 7 years, knew her better than most colleagues. Chadwick was also his aunt, which meant he saw both the personal and professional side of Betty.
Her personality was normally pretty gentle and pretty calm. A few times I got to work with her, though, when she was on a shoot, she was very much gung-ho. She was very much a go-getter.
And Chadwick was able to forge strong working relationships with Presidents John F. Kennedy and Lyndon Johnson.
I remember one time after the convention, we got a Look magazine. That was the big magazine then, with a montage of pictures. Right in the middle is Betty Chadwick feeding Lyndon Johnson baked beans out of a plate. Now, how many people can get that close? And he's got a smile on his face.
She had sources locally, nationally, and I think she even had some federal sources. And I think she gained the trust of all those sources.
I was the only newswoman in the first group sent to Germany to cover the Berlin crisis.
I was a kid when she started out, and so I just thought, well, Betty does it. Well, why can't every little girl do it? She blazed a trail.
She was dedicated to Channel 10 News. You just can't believe. She lived it, she breathed it.
In addition to my trips abroad, I have been on many assignments all over the country, but some of the most interesting camera work has come right near home.
Working close to home, making a mark in history. You can't pull off the biggest upset without first being the biggest underdog.
Grew up as a sportsman, of course, playing basketball and knows sports, knows winning and losing, and it's hard to find an owner that understands losing.
That's Dale Romans, one of the premier horse racing trainers in the country.
I mean, his whole demeanor is play, play, play.
And he's talking about Paul Moran's co-owner of Keen Ice.
Keen Ice has won the Travers over American Pharoah.
Yes, that Keen Ice, the one who pulled off one of horse racing's biggest upsets in the past 40 years, the one who stunned Triple Crown winner American Pharoah in the Travers Stakes. We talked to Paul Morans at another track Keen Ice is familiar with, and this one happens to be the most famous track in the sport.
To be fortunate enough to be part of something like this, and to be lucky enough to get to the highest level and to run on this track and to run on the biggest day of the year on this track, and to have your wife and your kids and your mom and your grandfather and your family here, right, to be part of it, that's legacy.
That sporting background, that competitive edge, something that started in Moran's on Terre Haute North High School's basketball court.
Looking back and thinking back about those games, and I can remember all my teammates. I can remember the South players. Back then it was just, what a ride that was as a kid in Terre Haute.
Moran's parlayed his hoops ability into a Division I scholarship at Southwest Missouri State.
Spot up, take the three. Got it!
He picked up a Sweet 16 appearance on his way to a degree that has led to a successful career as a financial advisor. Then came the chance to buy into the horse racing circuit and become a part of history.
It's not like something you you dream about. It's not something that can happen. And then when it does happen like that, it's unbelievable. The experience is much higher when you don't believe it can happen. The big filly. The big filly.
Paul Morans finds himself at the pinnacle of the sport. But even while sitting in the stables at Churchill Downs, it's apparent he has not forgotten where it all started.
Growing up in Terre Haute was actually, for me, it's such a good place for families to grow up because, you know, it is a small town, right? I mean, it has everything you want in a town.
And for Morans, it's the place that fostered a storybook of a lifetime.
Triple Crown winner American Pharaoh defeated by Keen Ice in the shadow of the wire.
Downtown Terre Haute is in the holiday spirit as we speak, as Miracle on 7th Street started up a little more than an hour ago. News 10's Mike Cleff took the opportunity to play hooky of sorts from work. He joins us now live and tells us there's a bit of a new twist to this year's event. Mike?
Hi, Patrice, and you're absolutely right. Such a special event, the Miracle on 7th Street. They've got directions and everything, and already a great turnout. This started a little over an hour ago. It goes until 10 o'clock tonight. The thing that's great, so many kids in attendance. Santa showed up just a few minutes ago, and this event will go until 10 o'clock tonight, and then in a new twist, it'll be a two-day event. So it's going to resume tomorrow at 10 a.m. and run until 4 p.m. As you can see, tents galore, including heated tents, so you can stay warm. You see all these Christmas trees. It's a competition, not-for-profit agencies decorating them. They look sensational. There is kettle corn out here. There's also ornaments and gallery displays in one of the tents, and a lot of things to do for the kids. In fact, this is a huge event. They estimate as many as 12,000 could be in downtown Terre Haute tonight, and also as many as 12,000 tomorrow. A big reason why it's now a two-day event. There's an ice skating rink nearby, which is going to be taking place. You can go every day up until December 12th. So there's all kinds of things to do. There's art displays. There's also workshops. There's all kinds of things for the kids to do. You see one little one right here, one young one enjoying the popcorn. He says he knows you, Patrice. So anyway, a great event. The weather is fine. Yeah, you need a jacket, but it's not windy, and obviously no precipitation. Reporting live from the Miracle on 7th Street in downtown Terre Haute, Mike Cleff, News 10. Back to you in the studio, Patrice.
Thank you. Lots of pretty Christmas trees, too. Thank you very much. Looks very nice.